Hi and welcome to another one of my tutorials. This tutorial deals with setting up a Dhcp server using Windows 2008. Dhcp stands for Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol. It is a network protocol that enables a server to automatically assign an IP address to a computer from a defined range of numbers configured for a given network. Now, in order to set up a Dhcp server, you have to click on Start, go to Server Manager, click on Roles. See, they're collecting the data here for the roles. Click on Add Roles. Here you will click on Next because the wizard is up. You go to your Dhcp server. Click on Next. Here it gives you an introduction again, as I've given you before, and it tells you that the Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol allows servers to assign or lease IP addresses to computers and other devices that are enabled as Dhcp clients. Now, in practicing, you can continue to read, but for now, we will click on Next. Here you see my IP address, which is my server IP address, and the type that I'll be using is IPv4, and we click on Next. Now when we click on Next, it tells you certain information about your parent domain and your DNS server, your IPv4 address here again. So you see that my parent domain is Cecily.com, and my DNS server that they're using here is my original server. You click on Validate and it's valid. Now it gives you a little insight, and it tells you that when clients obtain an IP address from the Dhcp server, they can be given Dhcp options such as the IP address of the DNS server and the parent domain name. The settings you provide here will be able to be applied to clients using IPv4. So we click on Next. This part here, well, we will not be going through this, so we can click on Next. Then you come up to something called Dhcp scopes. You might ask, what is that? Here they have it clearly defined. A scope is a range of possible addresses for a network. The Dhcp server cannot distribute IP addresses to clients until a scope is created. To create a scope, you click on Add, and this dialog box comes up. Our scope name in this will be Test, because I'm doing a test to see how it works. Our starting IP address will be 192.168.0.1. Well, we can use that for now. And our ending IP address will be 192.168.0.224. Our subnet mask 255.255.255.0. No default gateway, that's optional. And ensure that you click Activate this scope and click on OK. Here now you see the summary of what you just did, the name and the range. Click on Next. We want to disable version 6 because we are using version 4. Click on Next. Here are your credentials. Click on Next. And here's a summary version of everything you just did. So you're seeing that we disabled the version 6. You're seeing we activated a scope, our IP address range, our subnet mask, and so forth. Everything that we just did is a summary of it, and you click on Install. So here you see your Dhcp server being installed. So now you see we have successfully installed our DHCP server, and we click on close. What we want to do now is restart the computer. So you're going to click on start, and we will restart the system. So while this is restarted, we will just pause for a minute. So after we have installed the DHCP server, what we want to do is go into the system and configure the DHCP server. So we're going to click on Start, Server Manager, we're going to go to Roles, DHCP server. Here you see my domain, open, IPv4. Within this, you will see my scope and my server options. You click on my scope, and in the scope, adjust this so you can see properly. In the scope, you have the address pool, which shows you the start IP, the end IP. You have the address list. Right now there are no items there. You have the reservations, the scope options. For this tutorial, I want to focus on the address list, because in the address list is where all the machines that were given IP addresses would show. So here I would log back into Windows 7. So I'm gonna close here for now. And I want to go back into Windows 7. So I have Windows 7 open here, and I want to check to see if the DHCP server is going to allow it to receive the IP address, right? Which we will see in the address list. So first let's check the IP address to ensure that it's not static. So you're gonna go here, open network and sharing. You're gonna go to change adapter settings. From here we're gonna right click, go down to properties, gonna log in. So we're logging in as administrator, type in our password. So it's static here. We wanted to obtain an IP address automatically and obtain DNS server address automatically. And we're going to click on OK and close. From here, we're going to click on Start. We're going to go into the command prompt. So here we see our command prompt. Right click. And we're going to run as administrator. And we are going to type in ipconfig. And here you see my DNS. This is the domain. You see in the IP address and all the relevant information that you need here. I'm going to close off this. and we are going back to Windows Server to see if Dhcp is allowing it to receive the IP address. Start Server Manager. Go to Roles. Dhcp. Let's open up here. IPv4. Scope. Go back into our pool. There you see the info. And here you see where the Dhcp server is working, because it is allowing our PC, which is 192.168.0.2, that's the IP address of Windows 7. Here you seen it on my domain, so it's allowing it to receive the IP address automatically. So here ends my tutorial on Dhcp, and basically, as I said before, it is a network protocol that enables a server to automatically assign an IP address to a computer. So here we see it is actually working. Thank you so much for looking at my tutorial. I do hope it was very informative.